Oh, I'm in the
You
way.
never answer my question, Kane. Am I allowed to represent him, or is that a conflict?
I think.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna do, but we need to go through the steps first. So you can just be on the side. I don't have keys to this door in specific. Thank you. I didn't want to walk all the way
Not
around.
an issue. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I thought I'd be on the other side of the table. You know what I mean, Carter? Never thought I'd be over here.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is he in an interrogation room?
Because I don't have an office that has a recorder. Okay. All right. You got everybody you need, Bustin?
Yeah. Troops are
Feel
here.
comfortable. All right. State Attorney Kane Anderson.
I didn't do it. I'm innocent. Sorry.
Interrogation of Bustin Cider. Today's date, the 22nd of May, starting at 3 p.m. All righty. Mr. Cider.
Yes.
Just to make sure that it is on the record and on the nature of what we're going to be discussing, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. You understand these rights as I have read them to you.
I understand.
Okay, what about his Garrity rights?
Because of your position, you are also receiving a Garrity warning. A Garrity warning is a notification of rights given to an employee who are subject of an internal investigation. You may be compelled to make statements that could incriminate you. You must be aware of your Fifth Amendment right, which is your right to remain silent, and that any compelled statements may or may not be used against you in a criminal proceeding.
All right.
Okay.
Before we get started, is it okay if I give him something to calm him down a little bit? There you go.
Oh.
Fucking popping
Cheeseburger.
Quadruple
Heart stopper.
cheeseburger. Oh, this is. Oh, that. Okay, I'm ready.
Boston, treat this like a courtroom.
Yeah.
If if a question's asked, give it a couple seconds. If we say nothing, just go with it.
Okay. All right.
Now, this may be an interrogation, but do understand that you are still innocent until proven guilty. Your cooperation will help you more than you know.
Okay.
Mr. Kevin was recently found guilty via a justice for government corruption. Are you aware of this?
I am aware. Yes.
Do you know why he was found guilty?
No, I don't know the context of the court case.
Okay. There were a ton of MDT logs directly showing that Mr. Kevin went inside of evidence lockers pertaining to very specific reports, took them out, meaning a lot of these cases had to get dropped, a couple of them being attempted murder charges. The severity of him going through these is what led to this. Out of all of these reports that were tampered with, Mr. Kevin states that you were bribed and ordered him to do this. Can you enlighten me on any of these claims?
That's false. I never did anything like that. Never. Nope.
That's good.
There has been quite a conundrum on anybody having any recollection.
Pause. Carter, what the fuck does conundrum mean?
Predicament, issue,
Continue,
problem.
Kane.
There's been quite the conundrum on anybody remembering if you were on duty the day that this happened. And I went ahead and tried to get the records from Deputy Commissioner Knox, but the duty records for PD only go back about a month. So because of this, because of the claims being made against, would you turn over your phone and bank records to support your innocence to the state attorney's office?
I'm gonna step in here, and regardless, you have your right to privacy, and I'm here to protect that. All right,
Absolutely.
So honestly, I think Kane's gonna go try digging for other shit.
Absolutely not. We would specify exactly what we are looking for, the timeline, and not go into any matters.
How big's the
beyond
timeline?
that. The timeline would stem probably a day before and a day after the day that Mr. Kevin broke into the evidence locker.
We'll consider it.
Okay. There's been some back and forth about Mr. Kevin's DNA being introduced due to his further facilitation within the LSPD. Can you explain the situation involving his DNA?
Yes. Mac, am I good to just tell him exactly what I told you, correct?
Sure. I'll stop you if I feel like I need to.
Okay. So, when Detective Kev Boone was first part of or going through the hiring process, it was obviously there was a little hesitation there. Now, after the great collapse of society, everyone's past was wiped. You know this, Kane.
Absolutely.
Everyone's past was wiped. You can no longer judge someone on behalf of what they have done because of the great collapse, everyone was now free. Everyone was now, they had no records. So when Detective or Mr. Kev Boone walked up to me and asked me to be a police officer, there was nothing holding him back through our SOPs or through the hiring process that would make me not think or make me think that it was, the worst idea in the entire world. Okay? Because I wasn't supposed to judge him on his past at that point. So, obviously, with it being Mr. Kev Boone, we even went to more lengths to make sure that when we hired him, everyone was okay with it. Carter, here to my left, can attest to that, but we will get to it. So he comes up to me, he asks to be a detective. I then bring that information to Knox, Commissioner, and I tell him everything that's going on and what's going on with the detective. He then told me that to do my due diligence, if it's a call that I was going to make sure other people are okay with it, and then to make sure I go through the proper channels and to make sure I hire him the correct way. So after we agree to that, I then talk to Carter and I say, Carter, I want you to go and get all the NCOs together, all the people who are in the field every day. And I think there was a couple sergeants there as well. Correct, Carter?
Yeah.
And some sergeants as well. I want you all to get together and make a decision on if you guys would want to have someone like Mr. Kev Boone part of our force. The whole idea behind this is like, if he was being honest, which we truly believed at the time he was when we were hiring him, that he would be an unmatched weapon for the PD is not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for here? Asset. There we go.
Yeah.
He would be an unmatched asset to the PD. He would be able to help, which he did, with a ton of raids, be able to help with a ton of information on the streets, stuff that he knew. And he did. He helped with a lot of it. A lot of different cases he helped us. I mean, we raided how many people? 3, 4, 5 people with his help. Yeah. So whenever we were hiring him, we'll go back in time a little bit again. I'm jumping back and forth. I tasked Conan Clarkson with getting Mr. Kev Boone's DNA. As you know, when you're hired to the LSPD, we have to have DNA on file just in case something ever happens. So I tasked Conan Clarkson with the task of getting me Mr. Kev Boone's DNA. Detective Kev Boone and Conan Clarkson then leave the PD, and they come back with a DNA sample. I then take that DNA. I believe I don't remember who I handed it off to. My memory is not that good, but I either or someone else either put it into the MDT and realized that the DNA that was given to me did not match. Now I addressed this. I went straight to Conan Clarkson and I said, Conan, this DNA does not match. What the fuck happened? He goes, me and Detective Kev Boone was at an orgy. And somehow, I think that we got the wrong DNA. No problem, though, Chief. I'm going to get the right DNA now. So he leaves. He then brings me back the correct DNA. Now, I talked to Commissioner Knox between this and relayed the information that went down. After I got the second sample of DNA, I then took that DNA and gave it straight to Commissioner Knox, to then put into the MDT, which when he did so, it came back to Detective Keb. At that point, I took Conan Clarkson's fuck up as exactly that. I did not immediately think the absolute worst for my officers. I'm a chief. I can't do that. If I thought the worst out of my officers anytime something like this ever happened or a mistake took place, this entire PD would be empty and everyone would be fired. So, that's that.
Why not just take it yourself?
Because I'm a chief. I don't have time to sit there and I can tell you right now, out of every single officer that has ever been hired into this police department, I have never taken DNA and submitted it for any of them. I have people for that. I have FOO, I have corporals, I have sergeants, lieutenants. I take things that come to me and I delegate. If every single thing that came onto my desk, I did myself, I would never leave the PD and I would be a fucking broom in a corner, just cleaning up everyone else's bullshit. That's Mr. Keb wasn't special to me at the time. It was just another guy I was onboarding into the PD. Yes, did we do extra things for him? Of course we did, in terms of, again, with the Carter, making sure it was a choice amongst the entire PD to take him in. But with the hiring process, I've never dealt with any of it. In terms of
with
DNA.
you taking all of this time and effort to get him hired, do you not see how you were primarily responsible for his actions while inside of the LSPD?
100%. I mean, I can understand that people are mad at me for getting Mr. Keb hired, or at least introducing him to the hiring process. Yes. But if we start holding people accountable for other idiots' actions because they went through a hiring process and passed through it, then we might as well fire everyone that you're staring at right now. Fire me, fire Carter, fire Mac. We've all hired bad apples. You can't choose, or you can't dictate what other people do. You can give them opportunity, and if they fucking throw it away, then that's just that. That's not on me.
You don't see how that's a bad reflection, because that's your vote of confidence.
Well, then I want you to do this for me, Kane. I want you to go into the PD.
That wasn't a question.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this. I want you to go into the MDT, and I want you to look at that roster. And every single one of them sons of bitches there, I was part of their hiring. So instead of looking at what I have done that's bad, let's take a look and compare it to what I've done that's good for the PD. And I can promise you, out of that entire roster,
that's not going to be taken out of consideration, Bustin.
Yeah, I've hired a vast majority of the PD in terms of getting them into the cadet phases and getting them part of FOO's process of getting hired. Hell, I've promoted Carter, I've promoted Mac, I've done it all. Of course, I'm going to make a mistake. I ain't perfect. I'm only human.
All right. Well, let's actually talk about that hiring process. I do understand to a certain degree that there are direct transfers that generally get hired in as probationary officers, skipping that cadet phase. To my knowledge, Mr. Kevin has never been an officer. So why was he allowed to skip the tennis ball stage?
Well, he didn't skip the tennis ball stage. He actually went through a more restricted stage than any officer we have literally ever hired into the PD. When anyone, let's go back to the first stage of this question. You asked if people get passed through the cadet process. Yes, for transfers in, or for people who have past experiences as a detective or as an officer in general, if we deem as high command that those individuals don't need to go through the cadet process and that they can get quote unquote special treatment, then we have done that. I've done that multiple times. Croc, he didn't have to go through the process. He was hired on, and he's doing fantastic. Carmine, I don't know what the fuck that crackhead's doing. That wasn't my hire. That was Commissioner Cassidy's hire. But again, you can go, Mac, right next to my right, he didn't go through the cadet phases. Neither did Casanova. The list goes on and on and on. There's tons of people that didn't have to go through that stuff that have shown that they understand what it is to be an officer. I also would like to go in depth on what is going through the academy. The academy is nothing but a teaching tool to explain and to show how we do things here, right? If you have no idea what you are doing, you can't patrol the streets. But if we have officers who we believe do understand what they're doing, they usually go on a ride-along process, which is exactly what Mr. Kevin did for 3 days. They ride along with officers. If nothing happens, they don't do anything fucking stupid, then they are fast-tracked. When Mr. Kaboon was then hired on to the PD, he was hired as a probationary officer for a full week. He could not access, he was actually hired underneath of probation. He could not access the MDT, nor could he enter the armory for an entire week. No one else that has ever been hired on to the police department has ever went through that. So I was harder on him than any other officer in this fucking building. Then after he showed that not only was he able to get 1, but 3 fucking raids in 1 week, was able to be part of multiple times people getting arrested, including people who he was affiliated with in Chain Gang. We arrested multiple people during that week that was in affiliation with that gang. And again, all the stuff, I have officers coming up to me, detectives, regular officers, corporals, sergeants. Man, busted. K is killing it. Oh, Detective K is killing it. He's doing great. He's doing wonders. Not one person brought up anything that would have made me not want to promote him. So after a week and after he showed that, he was then promoted to full officer.
And if I may, the DOJ stood behind it too, because who else is going to approve the warrants?
All of this was passed through the commissioner's office.
I'm going to go ahead and backtrack to try and get some clarity on something you just said.
Yes.
You said that Mr. Kevin enacted and helped in a large fashion against members of his own gang.
Mm.
Am I getting that correct?
Yes.
So you knowingly hired somebody into the LSPD, a part of an active gang.
Again, we're talking about things that we know now that we didn't know then. This was after the Great Collapse. There was no history of anyone in this city with a pulse. If I had a terrorist that was a terrorist yesterday walk up to me that following day, he was no longer a terrorist. The entire infrastructure of all of our information on everybody was collapsed, and we were told not to judge them on behalf of old information. So yeah,
okay.
To your answer, in a way, yes, but at the same time, that is what I was instructed by our governor to do.
Okay, no, and that's fine. That's why I wanted that clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if you yourself were on duty? Let me make sure I'm reading the exact date. April 7th.
I got no idea.
I know it was a long time ago, but I have to ask.
Yeah, I do not recall. I have no idea. I'd tell you if I did. No idea.
When Mr. Kevin was more or less officially hired to the LSPD, was he tracked to only work underneath you because of the type of special hire?
No, he worked with a lot of different people. He worked with our detectives at the time. What was his name, Carter?
Valentino and Hillinghead?
Worked underneath them, helped them with a lot of investigations and interrogations. Got people to willingly allow raids to happen on multiple occasions with officers in the room with them. So, or other officers, sorry. But no, yeah, I mean, he went with everybody. As well as I would like to point out that this wasn't something where I was one-to-one with him every single day. Detective Kaboon went on duty at around 4-ish, 5-ish o'clock, sometimes around 3:30-ish. As you guys know, I mean, you can check what time I'm on duty. It's there for everyone to see. I'm on duty from anywhere from 10 to 4, maybe 5 o'clock. That means I'm with him 1 to maybe max 2 hours a day. The other 8 to 9 that he's in the city, I wasn't around for. I hire a lot of people into the PD. I can't watch everybody like hawks. So yes, was I part of the hiring process for him, and did I really push for it? 100%. But no, I was not on top of him like a stripper on a pole the entire time he was hired here.
Do you feel bad for what happened to the LSPD in the pursuit of justice due to his actions and with how hard you pushed?
I mean, I always feel bad, you know. If I have a ton of people who I've hired in my past that have, you know, some people get shot down and they're talking shit and I have to fire them. Some people, you know, we've had this kind of stuff has happened before. We had a guy who was selling fucking armors, Dick. He got fired and he went and sold a bunch of armors and shit. This kind of stuff happens. He did it to a crazier degree that is just ridiculous. But of course, I feel terrible for my officers having to deal with the bullshit that Mr. Kev Boone's doing.
On the aspect of phone records and bank records, are you guys still against this?
So we get back to you on it. We'll check the, you know,
Well, a lot of
gather all the
information's
stuff.
out there, and I've explicitly expressed the date. It would be from April 6th to April 8th of any communication between Bustin Cider and Mr. Kevin.
All right. And I mean, he has the right to his privacy. He has the right to look at what he has in there before authorizing the release.
I mean,
Does he
I
want to
really
do that
don't
now?
mind. Yeah, I can take a look right now. I have no issue with you checking it out or however. How many days ago was this?
Month and 12 days or something like that.
You
Just
said
about, yeah.
April 6th?
Something like that.
April 6th to April 8th.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issues. The only thing on here, yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any issues. You want to check it out? I actually, you know what? I've been down to give you, and I want you to listen to these audio messages because this is perfect. Actually, fuck yeah, I have audio messages on my phone of my reaction to when I found out about what happened with Mr. Kev Boone, and I want you to take a listen to them.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, Carter. Damn, your legs are big. You been working out?
Friend.
Go ahead. Take a listen.
All right. And like I said, just for clarity, I'm only going to be looking at those days.
Yep. Do you have your eyes open right now?
I do not.
Damn it. I wanted to. All right. I wish I could hear it.
I can if you really need me to.
No, you're okay. I just wanted to hear it.
Too bad I did it anyways.
Okay. Wait, what's Kane's stream chat? Does anyone know? What is it? What's Kane's stream? My name Gig. Okay.
People to fucking clamber over because I know what's going to happen.
All right, you're all good.
So you guys are going to flood my fucking...
You're all good.
All right. So, like I said, from April 7th, April 6th, 7th, and 8th, is there any day beyond that you are willing to let me look at? Because that's only what I have in front of me right now.
I ain't got nothing. I got nothing. I agree to what we already talked about, the 2 days. Anything more, we'll just hold off for now.
Okay. Too easy.
All right.
So, too easy. So, starting off, we have on April 7th, the day that it happened. Don't believe them, boss. It's not true. And then the audio messages between the two of you.
Hey, best friend, Mr. Kev Boone, Detective Kev Boone, it's Bustin. Just woke up and I saw your text. You know, I'm not good at texting myself, but I saw your text and I got no idea what you're talking about. So I'm gonna go figure that out and I'll leave you another voice message. Detective Kev Boone, I'm currently getting called up north to go and have a conversation with DC. I'm a little nervous. I'll keep you posted.
A meeting with DC, you say?
Just keep listening. We'll talk about all that after.
Okay.
Just keep listening. We'll talk about all that after.
Okay.
You son of a bitch. You swore on my life that you weren't going to do nothing. And you fucking did it. You took me fishing and we were ambushed by Somalian pirates together. And then you go and do something like this. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I can't believe you done this.
That's an impressive note you can hold. Have you tried singing with Colt?
I appreciate that. Yeah, I've done a little bit. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've done a little bit. I'm gonna find you, and I swear to God, I'm gonna catch you. I can't believe you done something like this. Oh my God.
It's so explosive. Oh my God.
Chief, you gotta believe me, man. Please, me and you ride out together on these pirates. I got 2 ARs in a dream, though. 2 ARs in a... Oh, give me a little sip. Sorry, Chief. Chief.
Fuck. I don't think I heard that last one. Sorry.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I'm not watching that. So, as you can see, you can hear the frustration from my voice when I found everything out.
He also makes a claim of 2 ARs in a dream, more or less confirming that he had them in the armory. Were you aware of more or less his raid on the armory?
Again, I don't have a perfect recollection. I could have. I'm not 100% sure with you, Kane.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, back to the meeting in Sandy.
Yes.
What was discussed? Because obviously you sent the voicemail saying that you had to have that meeting, and then right after you have the more or less very big crash out on him.
Yeah. So I wish this happened yesterday so I can remember. I remember going up north. I get a call from DC, and I think this is whenever, again, don't want to misremember, but I believe this was whenever he told me about what Kay has done. I think this was right after. This was the day before Carter. Didn't something happen at a boat? Or was that us that did that?
I don't recall.
Anyways, I went up north and I had a conversation with DC, and I believe he told me enough information to where I knew something about what Kaboon has done, and I believe this was the post-firing after that had happened, which is why, again, the frustration in my voice. That's all I truly recall.
I could push a little bit of memory towards you.
Okay.
On the basis was the day that these events happened, what transpired after was Mr. Kevin was still hired, went to the rooftops to gain access to Air One, took Air One to Triple SO, clocked out with Air One still in his possession.
See, but here's my problem with that, right? I understand I was chief of police, and you could say that was my responsibility to make sure that he was fired. And to be honest, you're not wrong. But my problem is if I have the commissioner, my only boss, that tells me what happened, okay, and tells me that he knows and he was there for all of this stuff to happen, why wouldn't he fire him? And why, in that moment, like, even now, I would never hear something like that had gone down and had happened and thought to myself, the officer that saw him do this wouldn't fire him. I mean, of course, that's exactly what you would do. So either the timeline is messed up and he wasn't fired from that point, or this information was found out by DC, and I believe Lane was in that room as well, and neither of them fired him. And it was, a mistake maybe. But again, if I'm getting told, if Carter comes to me and tells me an officer took his pants off, ran around Legion Square shooting a gun at people, killed 3 individuals, and then made it to Cancun, I would expect Carter to fire that individual because he's competent. Wouldn't you expect the same? You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I, if every single time something's brought up to me negative, and it brought to me by my boss, I would expect him to have already been fired. But I'm almost certain, Kane, that he was fired during those voice messages in that timeline.
I mean, the actual timeline of his firing has been more or less a mystery to me. Even the main report going through everything going on, it's more or less not specifically highlighted
I am
when he was
almost
terminated.
certain, and again, this is almost certain as a memory of a month ago, that he was fired that morning. Like, he was fired by DC that morning. I'm almost positive DC, he might have texted me. Let me see. You said it was what day again?
Between April 6th and April 8th. The day of him going through the evidence locker was April 7th.
Yeah, I'm looking. We don't have any text. We had at this time a FaceTime policy that I implemented, that anytime a high command member called another one, they would have to FaceTime each other. We were trying to build morale at this point, so it explains why there's no text between us two. But I am almost 100% certain, I'd say 99% sure, that DC told me that he had to fire Detective Kev Boone for whatever he did at that time. And that is why I went up north to the BCSO station, so it was private, with Lane and with Knox to talk about this.
Okay. I believe at this time, I'm not going to have any more questions for you.
Okay.
You guys are free to leave as you please. And
so what's going on with the whole court warrant? I'm good to work and to go and clock in?
Okay, so I got told about that, and I immediately called the judge that unless he had reputable evidence beyond someone just talking about it through testimony, he can't do that, because it more or less sounded like the judges were trying to do my job. So that more or less got dropped. I understand his motion and his antic to do that based off of testimony heard, but I told him that it's not his department to worry about that.
Okay.
Because we, and by we I mean either the state attorney's office or the commissioner's office, had placed no charges against you, and that we were still conducting investigation.
Got it. So I'm all good for now.
For now.
Okay. Yeah, I would. If I were you, I'd talk to Knox, because he might be able to clear up a lot of that timeline. And I am almost certain that he fired Detective Kev Boone prior to that day when you heard those voice messages. It was that morning or late that night before. I am very, very, very confident in that.
Okay. I wonder how many people are behind this glass.
I'm not too sure.
Let's find out.
Okay. I'm all good.
Yep.
All right.
You are free and clear.
Nobody.
All right.
Wow, really?
Surprising.
Okay. Thank you, Kane. I hope you enjoyed those voice messages.
Yeah.
All right, we're just gonna talk.
They were something.
We're gonna talk. So we'll see you later. Whew, how'd I do? Did I say anything bad?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you did pretty well. I think the only thing that might stand out, that might bite you in the ass, you kind of maybe deflected a little bit to someone else.
What do you mean? To Knox?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of threw him under the bus a little bit.
I mean, but that's the truth. Like the DNA was taken by Knox. The call to fire and the firing was done
He
by
can't
Knox.
get out without us. I'm gonna go let him out, and then
Yeah. Anyways, we can talk about it later.